so today we're working on a Samsung WF330 washer. I don't know the exact model number, but it's one of the ones that has this pump. So it's getting the ND error, no drain error. And not going to be a crazy, fun, exciting video with lots of edits, just because just doing this to show that I can fix something without yelling out a bunch of 3 or 4 letter words, as everybody seems to think that's what I do. So just going to leave the camera here. Thanks to a couple of helpful YouTube videos, it shouldn't be too terribly complicated of a task to complete. First step, take off the lid. So that's 2 Phillips screws, and then that lid slides off. Got to unplug. Next step is to take this front panel off. So take the soap dispenser off. There's a little push tab on it to push down to get that out. And then we've got, it looks like 1-2 screws that hold this on. And then it should be just clips that hold it into the main body. So also I do believe there's a screw down here on this door. I'm going to take that off before I get too far into this and forget. Okay, there's actually 2 screws down here on this door. And that one fell in there, so we'll have to get that one back later. Alright, so now always get uncomfortable trying to pry stuff out. It's just not the same. You know what? Let's push that 1 extra screw, and that'll allow me to move the entire dispenser backwards. Should give me easier access. There we go. Look at that. Like a glove. Okay. So that's come off now. And that's come out. So we're just going to leave that on top. Next we've got 4 more screws for the front. These are on quite a little bit tighter than the first. Should have used a screw gun, but again, my hand's very slick from that soap on that dispenser. There we go. Apparently, it's a very common problem on these things. So I'm not by any means a certified tech washing machine specialist, whatever, but I can see that getting to the valves, I know that's a common problem, at least with older washing machines, is the valves going bad. Those are back there. This thing though on the Samsungs, the only 2 things I could figure it being is basically the symptoms are it's going into the spin cycle and just stops. Doesn't do anything, doesn't spin, doesn't complete the cycle, and the timer just hangs up. So I think the pump's just not coming on. So the water level sensors are never tripping, and it's never going into a spin cycle. Could be wrong, and it could be the control board on this thing. Hopefully it will not be that. But some people have replaced this pump and been good to go. Others have had to replace the control board. So we're going to hope we get the easy one. So next step is there's supposed to be a ring in here. There's a retention ring question is there's some easy way to get to it. I don't know what that is. Space. Even see. I know there's a lock ring in here. I don't even see it. Actually, I got a chunk torn out of this already.
About this.
Oh, what is that?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Oh my God, the phone.
Who else in that magnet? Mickey Mouse and who else?
Goofy.
Goofy. Who's the other mouse?
Alright, let me turn this off until I figure out how to do this. I think you're hearing things more if you think there's trains.
Oh, there's a toy over there that's a train.
Okay. Alright, so turn the camera off for a second to try and figure things out. Because again, I'm no expert on this. There are 2 screws underneath the bottom that hold this in. And this little ring here that goes around the edge. And it's got a spring. It's just hard to figure out exactly where that is. So once this ring is off, then we should be able to peel that gasket out. And then there's a little clip here that you got to kind of use a screwdriver to wedge to get that top piece off. Now we should, if I can figure out exactly how, this should be released. I don't see anything else holding it. And it's definitely firmly locked though, so there's got to be something down here.
There's a puppy. And I see puppy.
Okay. The door lock mechanism.
And I see puppy.
I don't think there's going to be an easy way to get that thing unlocked. I just can't get my hands in there right now. So we're just going to release it for now.
I found puppy.
You found a puppy? Oh, it's a purple puppy.
Where's the puppy?
What other animals do you have? Is he pushed in it?
Alright, that's
Puppy.
three screws. And now that's free. There's one more screw just right in the middle that I missed.
Good job, puppy.
Oh no, now where's that? I don't see that screw. Okay, there's not. That just pops off. Now, we did lose a screw earlier. Basically, worry about that later. Alright, so that screw can go with the other little screw. Alright, so now we have access to our pompier. So we need to undo all these clamps. We've already drained the washing machine, so that's already taken care of. Alright, so now little power connector on the top there. And it looks like this thing is ratcheted down on a shock mount. So let me get a ratchet set to be some tight quarters in here. Small ratchet in there. Yes, I think I will be able to get the small ratchet in there. Alright, so that looks to be a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch fits. Just shock mount, so it's not really in there. It's not fully screwed down hard enough. Alright, and one more. It's not, it looks worse than it is as far as getting around to the back of this thing. As long as you got the ability to kneel down. Alright, I think that's it. I think it's just these 2 bolts. And the shock mount should come and release, I think. Okay, yes. Okay, so it's basically just a plastic. I'll show you guys here in a second, as soon as I can. All of these clips are just, they're just hand tight. So we were able to. Okay, so as you can see, it's just 2 shock mounts there, and then this little tab just slides in and locks down. So there's our check valve there. The pump is right in the back. So here's our new unit. So we've got to separate it from the housing. It's going to be fun. I'm trying to remember where all these screws went. Like I said, this ain't going to be some edited, fancy, fun video. This is real too legit. Okay, so we'll put those over there. That mounts the pump to the mounting assembly, and these 3 screws here actually mount the electrical pump to the sump housing, where all the washer, both the door gasket and the tank all drain down to. It's got the tank drain, the door gasket drain, and then of course it has the pump outlet, or the discharge side, all down this sump. And this sump has a built-in filter on it as well. And that power connector that I was telling you about earlier that we disconnected on this pump was right there on the front. So now we're going to slide this piece off. Now we've got our pump exposed. So we're going to pop the pump out. The actual filter doesn't, there's nothing in here that's of any alarm or concern. So now we take the old out with the old, the new has the new washer pre-installed. It's got tabs here, here, and here, and those tabs align with those tabs there, and the screw holes. So this housing is obviously clean. There's nothing that we need to do to that. So that just mounts directly onto the back. And now we reverse this process. So it looks like it's got multiple places where you could screw in on either one. I'm gonna go on the uppermost. But it looks like you go on the sides too, if you wanted to. And we'll do this in kind of a star pattern of tightening, just to make sure that we don't have any leaks. Oh, yeah, I need to double check what I'm doing here because this thing has a cap, and actually one of those screws is probably for the cap. So let's check and see if I'm doing this wrong. It doesn't look like it. It looks like so that goes down there. All right.
I bet he'd go really good in the kitchen because it's a hard floor. You don't want to go in the kitchen?
All right, so those are all tightened up. All right. So then we've got this little guy. So that fits right over the top there. I'm not sure exactly what that offers in the form of protection, if it does anything. Fixing Mama's washing machine. All right, so tell. I'm thinking I did that wrong. So let me take that back off. I'm pretty sure this goes on the very back, so that way that's not uneven. So yeah, I think that mount goes directly on the back of the pump. Should have paid a little more attention during disassembly. Get that just a little bit tight. That goes down around there, and then this cap fits over the back of the pump assembly and lines right up with that. Okay. So you do that correct order of operations. You shouldn't end up with a crooked pump. Apologize for doing that off camera, but it's just hard to get a good grip on that. All right. I don't know. I think that might actually go all the way through to the from the pump to the actual housing itself. So that just acts as another point for sealing. All right. So this all looks good here. Everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead and install this back in. Same thing, this is going to fit down in here and lock forward. We can get all the hoses out of the way. And the electronics out of the way. So that's mounted. Our bolts all lined back up again. Those shock mounts. Oops. Strongly suggest, so I've got a 4x4, but strongly suggest, for both convenience sake and accessing the bottom things, to put a block of wood like a 4x4 underneath the washing machine. Alright, so tightening these back guys up. Seems like everybody's having problems with their washing machines lately. That one. This doesn't matter if you tighten one side down before the other, as long as they're lining up. It's a shock mount, so it ain't tight. This one is already much tighter. Alright. Now, back to connections. So that release, I believe, was on top. Yeah, that clicks in. So then we've got this thing with the one-way valve. Okay, we got a bunch of connectors. Okay, this thing needs to come underneath, out front. So this is the sump drain.
What are you talking about?
Sump drain line there. Alright. Now we put on this looks like this is the inlet. And most of these, like I said, these are all just hand tight. You don't need a pair of vice grips to get these clips moved. They're very easy to move, okay? Then this is the tub. I don't know where that actually is coming from. I said it was a gasket drain earlier, and it may very well be, but it comes off the side of the tub. So we've got the sump drain, and then the discharge itself. I just heard the discharge's clip fall off. I just heard that ring fall in. That is perfect, and I have no idea where. Okay, no, it didn't. I'll take that back. It didn't fall in. Yay! Heard something else sliding around there.
green beans.
I wish I could see the look on her face right now.
Grandma's not home. Not yet.
Now this is going to be difficult because I've got to slide this drain collar on without pushing this gasket or unseating this one-way valve gasket. Heck, I may have done it. I mean, who cares? If it drains back a little bit or backflow, I mean, it just that is what it is. It's just the nature of the beast. So this is all hooked back up again. And
That's too hot.
you can't get out without hurting yourself. So that's the new pump in there. So now we need to just reverse stuff.
Get you hot.
Thank you. You hold on to that for now, though. Daddy will take it here in a little bit. Okay. Let's get this out of y'all. So you guys can go back here and see. Whee. Alright, pump is back, it's installed. So now we get to engage in the amusing, fun process of trying to get this thing back in line with these little clips. I have no idea how that happens.
So fun.
Okay, just like that. So it's magic, as I've often expected how these things are put together. Getting this piece back on top. Just a little bit fun. Door latch is locked back in place. Okay, that's obviously not the right screw. Oh my goodness. Alright. That only fits on one way. Thank goodness that only fits on one way. So there are my 3 screws for there. I think if we have a swear word counter right now, it would currently be at 0, but I don't want to jinx myself because this repair may not work. If it doesn't work, I'll be very sad, disappointed, maybe a little bit angry. Alright. Yeah, not been impressed with any of particular washer brands. It seems like they all are having their issues right now. Kenmore has their problems. Samsung's definitely having their issues. Okay, so that's door plate's back on. So all right, so we should be back to these 4 screws up here. To lock our front panel in place. Then we've got 2 screws that go in from the bottom. Now these I won't tighten all the way until I get see if you guys have a good view of this or not. You guys see what I'm doing? Yeah, you guys can see. You can't see my pretty face, but you guys can see. Alright. Now, these I want to just tighten a little bit. They are much harder to screw in. It's a rougher screw. And then I want to get these 2. Now, for this, there was just no easy way to do this other than prop this thing way up and get up underneath here. I should have checked just to verify that these two screws had to come off. I don't know that they did, but I think they did actually, because this thing kind of cantilevers on these little hooks on the bottom. And on the back side of these hooks, they have a hole spot drill, and then from the frame up go these things. Ugh. Stay up there. Thank God for magnetic bits.
What'd you say, baby?
You got it.
You got it.
Alright. This whole floor is soaked in soap, and it's making things extremely difficult. Okay. Whew. Be careful with that, because these are some higher gauge wires here that I don't exactly trust to be ultra resilient. So this basically has a couple of things where it fits down and then just collapses in. So it's kind of just, you have to fold it out and then lift up when you're trying to get that out. But you do need to take the the soap dispenser out of the front, the drawer, and then you need to take the entire soap dispenser out in order to gain access to this. Otherwise, this thing here, where this door overlaps, it catches. Screw for the back, and I've got two that are supposed to be screwed into the bottom. I think that would probably be this one. That one locked in there, that one locked in there. So I've only got a couple screws left. There were two down here. Lock this little door in. Okay. That's locked in. Yeah, okay, so I don't have any extra screws. Great. Yay. Oh, there's no extra screws. Doesn't feel like that's in there like it should be. Not sure if that's supposed to go underneath there or not. Oh yeah, that is. Okay. So this actually goes in under two places. It goes in under the left screw. That's why that wasn't locking. And then it goes in underneath this one as well. So That locks into 2. There's a screw in the center piece here, but I guess it just doesn't have, either doesn't have one or I lost one of the screws. I don't see it though, so I don't think, I'll find out when I'm editing the video later if maybe that was the noise that I heard, was that extra screw. But I mean, she should work. So all right, let's get the cover back on top here. And then literally saving the worst bit for last. The last bit's probably going to be the hardest. And that's getting that little ring back on. So we've got the entire, how has she gotten this washing machine area so dirty? I have no idea how so much junk has gotten behind this machine. It's beyond me. So now everything fits, finishes all nice. I'm going to edit this next part out of the video because it's going to be me climbing over here and none of this is going to be very pretty. That's her mess to clean up. All right. Now that is out from underneath there. We have a door panel. It's a lock back into place, and we have this ring that needs to go back around. So it basically, I was kind of confused on this. This ring basically fits like that. There's a ledge here, and then this ring fits, this gasket fits around it, and that ring fits right in that groove. So that ring comes in here and locks that rubber down against that metal ridge. I saw people explain it in videos, but I'm just a visual person, and I didn't really see it. You guys, I may have done you guys a disservice and not really showing you well. But if you actually had to take one of these things apart, you'd see it. Again, no editing. I'm going to show this in real time just so you guys can see how difficult and or easy this job may or may not be. So far so good. It's just sliding right back around the edges. Alright, so that should be all the way back around again. So then we'll start it on the top. It's spring loaded, so this should be a breeze. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Oh. Bam, that's it. We're done. This door just doesn't seem to line up all that well. if there's a way to adjust that. It just may be the way that things are. Alright. Rinse plus spin. So supposedly this is the quickest way to test this out. So we'll find out. Sounds like the pump is running, but there's no water in the system at all. Hopefully everything's hooked up right, otherwise we're about to find out. Water's going where it's supposed to down there. So water's filling up that tub. No water leaking out of the base of this thing yet. It appears good so far. Bottom of the drum's filling up with water. I hope that this little guy just burned out and was no longer operating. It is free spinning like it's supposed to. So yeah, I mean this is the older style and it's cheaper. It's $20. The newer one's a lot more expensive. And it's like an entire assembly, whereas this one, as you guys saw, the pump hooks into the sump assembly, and there's a cover that goes over the top of what I guess is this capacitor, this heat sink. We'll see. It stops filling up this drum soon. I'm throwing lots of water. Alright, turn the camera back on when we get a drain.
This will be amazing. Tell them, write to Samsung, tell them.
Alright, so took it apart, put it back together, nothing worked. Ended up going in there, sure enough. I don't know how in the world a quarter got in there, but it got in there in an elbow that's right underneath the basin, and a joint there. A quarter got stuck in there, so it did burn out the other pump. So we did need to replace that pump. That's what burnt out of the pump, and now this pump, you can hear it now working just fine.